Hi and welcome to Nevin's Lab. Today we're going to do a review for this, the Aspire Premium Kit. Something on the back. I bought this from Watford Vape, that's watfordvape.com, and it was priced at $44.99. It's on sale at the moment. Yeah, $44.99. Thank you very much to Carleen. She helped me with selecting the device. I bought this for my wife. She's still on the analogues. I'm completely obsessed with vaping to the point of doing reviews, and I'm trying to make a convert. So I thought this was a rather smart kit to buy for her, and I'm going to do a little review of what it is, what I think, a few close-ups. That's what you get in the box. Rather nice presentation, and so it's I measured this a second ago and I've completely forgotten what it is. I don't have a fancy vernier meter like some of the other reviewers out there. I'm doing it with a ruler. So it is 17 millimeters diameter. Comes with a Nautilus mini tank on the top. The Nautilus mini is an 18.5 millimeter diameter, so it sits a little bit proud. But we'll get into the detail in a minute. I'll put up a splash screen with the details, and then we'll go down to do some close-ups. See you in a bit. So here we are, and that's what you get. I've got the camera pretty close to my working area, so we can't quite get all of the box in, but essentially that's the box. You slide it out of the outer cardboard. There's a little bit of description and a picture on the back. It's a rather smart box with this orange detail around there, Aspire on the front, and it opens up to reveal the a manual, a little Aspire wind thing, and you have the battery, the Nautilus mini, USB charger. So in there you get one of the usual little USB charger thingies, 5 replacement heads, and it says AC adapter, and you think, how on earth can a UK AC adapter fit in there? And sure enough, it's an empty box. But fear not, you get handed one of these at the counter. So this is the UK AC adapter. I think this box is designed for a European adapter, which is much flatter. So in there you get actually rather smart little USB adapter, again with the Aspire logo on it. The light's not very good, you probably can't see that. Anyway, that's the adapter. The device itself is a rather nice Aspire CF variable voltage. 5 presses on. There we go, flash for on, and it's firing. And the Nautilus mini. I'm not going to go into great detail about the Nautilus mini that comes with it. There are plenty of reviews out there for this particular tank. The Nautilus is a great tank. It's one of my favourites is my All Day Vape. I believe this is very similar. I haven't tried it. I'll let you know what I think once I've put some juice in it. So let's take it apart. It's quite stiff. It's a lot stiffer than my full-size Nautilus. So that comes apart. There's your replaceable head in there, and squeaky glass on metal. Got a glass tank. It holds, says 2 mils of juice on there. Replaceable drip tip. You can put whatever 510 drip you want on there. There's a little rubber seal inside there, and that screw thread threads directly onto the inside of the glass, so be careful when tightening this up. If you were to put too much strain on it, you could quite easily crack the glass on the thread. So put that on there. We'll just nip it up. The heads, very simple. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit. So the head's very simple. They unscrew. You can replace the heads. You can also recoil these heads as well. I haven't tried to do one myself. I probably will do at some point. Maybe even do a little video of my attempt. But there's plenty of videos out there on how to recoil these heads, or you can simply buy the replacements. That's the pack of 5 that comes with the kit. You can buy more packs, either individually or boxes with 5 in from Watford Vape or whatever your favourite website is. So screw that back in, and we'll put some juice in it. I'm going to put my Elder's Eyes. You will see there's another review on my channel for some of these juices. This is the Izzy Cloth Elder's Eyes. I did a review for this. So we'll fill that up just to the top of this metal post here. You can get a bit more juice in if you put the head in the top first. You can get a little bit more juice in, but for the purposes of this review I'm not going to bother. I'll screw that down. And there we go. Now I've got a air control ring on here, and we've got 3 settings. 1, 2, 3, no, 4 settings for air control there. I'll find out what the diameters are of these holes, and when we go back up top I'll tell you what they are. Screw that on the battery, and that's what it looks like. Now it's not perfectly flush. The battery here is the same size as the tank, the glass part, but this bevel at the bottom is slightly proud of the glass and of the battery. It looks okay, but I think I would have preferred it if the battery was flush with this ring. This is quite clunky looking. If you compare it to the full size Nautilus, full-size Nautilus is quite, it's got a nicer finish off it. It's still got the knurling and what have you, but this one, you see, it's quite clunky with these big knurls on it, and it doesn't feel as nice. I don't like it quite as much, but that's just my personal opinion. As a whole kit, it's not too bad for starting off. It's certainly an awful lot better than those clearomisers with the Ego batteries that most people start off on. So what I'm going to do now, it says it's variable voltage, and we've got a little ring down the bottom here. If you can see that, and you can turn that ring. So I'm turning the battery here, and you can turn the ring, and there's 3.3, 3.8, 4.3, 4.8, but it clicks, it's got a feel of a click to it as you move it, and it actually clicks at intermediate points between the 3.3 and the 4.8 at the top. So what we're going to do is, I've got a battery tester. Here we go. So I'm going to plug it on the battery tester. Oh no, it doesn't fit. Yes it does. My mistake. And see if it can pick it up. Yes. So let's see if you can see that. So we've got the battery plugged in, and I'm going to turn it right down to 3.3, and we'll fire it and see what the readout says. So we're getting 3.58 on the 3.3 setting. I'm just going to turn it up to the next numbered readout, which is 3.8 on this. So we're getting 3.67. 3.29. So that's back to the 3.3. We're back to 3.27. 3.8. It says 3.6. So it's a little bit off. 4.3 on the readout. And what does that give us? 4.24. And 4.8 is the highest number on here, and we're getting 4.7. Now I haven't charged this battery, it's fresh out the packet, so maybe with a full charge you might get the full 4.8, but certainly the readouts on the bottom of the battery when you twist the bezel for the different voltages, I would suggest they are indicative voltages rather than true voltage output. So it'll give you an idea. So put it back on here, and we'll come back up top and have a vape. Okay. Seen the close-ups. They're not great. The camera's not in the best position, and it's not the best of cameras, and the sound is probably not brilliant. So I'm going to just show you it again on the webcam, hopefully slightly better quality, so you can get a feel for it. So that's the device there. You see a quite smart carbon fibre effect on there. It says coated, carbon fibre coated. I'm not entirely sure if it's real carbon fibre, and the button. You see there you can hear it firing. So the button lights up, but it's also got the other functions, the low battery indications with different numbers of flashes and colours for indicating various things. That again, focus. So this is what I was talking about with the this knurled ring. It's a bit heavy, I think, for what is really quite a smart device. There's your air hole, and if I line that up you can see the whole side, and you see that slightly smaller and smaller again, and the smallest hole there, and fully open. Oh yes, and the voltage. So can you see in there? 3.6. So this is clicking all the way as I turn it. 4.5. Or is that is 4.8? My mistake. That's the light in here. So 4.8, 3.8 in fact, 3.3, and it's clicking, click, 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 click. So I'm assuming that's gradually increasing the voltage. So I guess all that talking has allowed the juice to prime the coil. What I'm going to do is what I generally do with my other Nautilus is I cover the air hole with my thumb, and I give it a few sucks just to create a vacuum inside the tank and draw the liquid into the material around the coil, just to make sure it's really nicely saturated. So we'll just do that. Bubbles coming up. Let's try it out. So this is Elder's Eyes, which was nutty caramel dessert mix, I believe. So that's on the lowest voltage. Let's turn it up to the middle somewhere. That's not bad. It's not a huge amount of vapour. The open, I'm on the biggest hole, and it's quite an open draw. You can't do a direct lung inhale with it, not like a dripper, but you can get a nice airy draw on it. If that's what you like. Turn it right down. I find that if you try and you can go from the biggest size to towards the smaller, in other words, the direction of tightening it up quite easily, and you can keep going round in that direction. It's quite stiff, and if you try and turn it the other way, sometimes the tank, that's this shutting off, sometimes the tank comes loose from the battery, so I just tend to go in one direction. that's quite pleasant actually on a tighter draw. I think it suits the device more. Just turn it right up. You know what? It's now 18650 mod. It's not as good as the full size Nautilus actually. It's going to look silly, but because I know how it vapes, I'm going to put my full size Nautilus on here. Just oh, that's a bit silly, isn't it? Anyway, we'll see what it tastes like. Actually, that's not bad. There's nothing wrong with the battery. So the battery's delivering good power, and it's vaping nice on my full-size Nautilus. The Nautilus Mini, maybe it needs a couple of hours vaping on it just to bed it in or something. You know what? I'm not going to finish this review right here. I'm going to cut the clip. I'm going to go away, vape on it, watch some telly, come back and finish the review and tell you what I think after an hour or two. See you later. Hi, right, well, I'm back. I've been vaping on this for a little while. Also, while I was vaping on this, I quickly reviewed the close-up shots from the other camera. I downloaded them and looked through the footage. One, I apologise for the noise on the sound. The microphone on that camera is clearly rubbish. I also can't read, so when I did the first voltage that I tested with this, I said it was 3.5 something, and it was actually showing 3.2 something, so I can't read. I did get it right second time round, but you can see it on the screen, so ignore what I'm saying and just look at what's on the screen instead. That'll give you a better idea. Been vaping on this for a little while, an hour or so, not a huge amount of time, and it's really settled down. It's starting to taste really good. Nice vapor. As you saw there, I took quite a long draw on it. I haven't counted how many seconds. I don't know if it's got a number of seconds cut out. I know some of the Ego batteries do, that you can only draw on them for a certain number of seconds and then they stop you from vaping and you have to release and re-click. This one hasn't given me any trouble. I tend to take quite long draws when I'm vaping and it hasn't cut out on me, so that's a bonus. It gets quite warm if you're chain vaping, which is something I tend to do, and the tank and the battery, the whole unit gets quite warm, and the drip tip gets quite warm, more so I think than the full size Nautilus for that, so something to be aware of. What I've been doing is I sat watched some telly, I watched the footage and I was just vaping away, and as I was vaping I was clicking the voltage, clicking the voltage a couple of turns, a couple of clicks, have a vape, see what it tastes like, click it another couple, have a vape, see what it tastes like, and I found that the sweet spot is somewhere for this juice is somewhere between the 3.2 which is the 3.8 and the 4.3. Somewhere between there is, for me, the sweet spot for this juice. So I suggest that if you get one of these, that's probably the best way to use it. Don't get hung up on the numbers, because as we saw, they're not exactly accurate anyway. Just concentrate on what it tastes like and how it vapes for you and what feels good. Have a couple of puffs on it, click it one way or the other, have a couple more puffs and turn it back again until you get the flavour, the throat hit, the vapour content that suits you and makes you feel good. So I've been vaping it around that. Shall we see what voltage it is? So that's pretty much where I've been vaping it. So I've been vaping it around about 4 volts. The coil that comes with it, let's just see what that is. Coil is showing 1.92. I think it's supposed to be a 1.8 ohm coil, and the replacement ones there you go, Nevin, you're blind as a bat even with your glasses on. No way I can see what they are. I'm guessing they're 1.8s as well. I've been doing a little bit of hunting around. You can do this yourselves. What I've found is that the airflow control holes, the largest one is 1.8 millimeters, and it goes down to 1.4, down again to 1.1, and the smallest is 0.9 of a millimeter. So that's the range of airflow options that you've got. So not a lot else to say really. It's vaping quite nicely, and I would say apart from this really clunky knurling around the airflow control ring, I know then you need to be able to grab it and turn it, but it's much nicer on the full size Nautalis. It's flush with the rest of the tank, and the whole unit is a 22mm tank on this one. This one it just makes it look clunky. It lets it down just a little bit, but as a start off device, it's pretty damn good. It's way better than an Ego battery with one of those little clearomisers with the long wicks in, whatever. And the other thing is that when you want to move on, when you've been vaping with this for a while, and you think, oh, I want to get a mod, you can go and buy yourself a 22mm mod. I've got the Sigelli Z Max here, and it doesn't look half bad. There's a bit of a step here. It's not a 22mm Atty on there, but you know what? As a step up from this to go into a full size 22mm mod, that's not half bad. And I've got that a bit high, 13 watts. Let's turn that down a bit. I'm going to put that down to 11 watts, which is probably about right. And that's a nice vape. It's actually not a bad little tank. It vapes very similar to the full size one. Yeah, it gets a bit hot. So all in all, great kit. Certainly if you want to start out vaping, if you're just thinking about starting out vaping, or if you know someone who's still on the analogs and you want to encourage them, buy them a gift. Really nice little kit, comes in a nice gift box. It looks smart. For me, because I've got great big claws for hands, it feels a little bit small in my hands. I do prefer a 22mm mod, but for my wife, she's got smaller hands. This is going to suit her down to the ground, and hopefully getting a nice smart little package like this, who knows, might provide some encouragement. We can only hope, can't we? Alright, thanks for watching, and come back and watch my next review. Thanks very much. Bye bye.